A lot. So you would know about symmetry from your primary school. Basically, if you have an object and you can cut it down the middle, it is said to have a line of symmetry. Now, nowhere could we cut these scissors down the middle so that they were anything other than not symmetrical. Even if we went down here, these handles are slightly different. So this doesn't have any lines of symmetry. This pair of scissors, however, has a perfect line of symmetry. If you were to cut right down the middle, it would have one line of symmetry, but it only has one. If we cut it down this way, this half is not going to look the same as this half. So this pair of scissors has one line of symmetry. So symmetry means cut in half and get an even amount. So for these pair of scissors, 0. For these pair of scissors, 1 and no more. Other things such as this lid top would have maybe one line of symmetry. You can cut it in half once. But if we were to take this circle here and find lines of symmetry, it would be infinite. So that is what you are looking for symmetry. Can you cut it in half and get an even amount? Now, rotation is a flash word to mean spin. And it's going to get you to spin things 90 degrees, which means a quarter. It's going to get you to spin things 180 degrees, which is a half. 270 degrees, which is 3/4, or 360 degrees, which is one whole turn. Then, just because it likes to be difficult, it's going to talk to you about anti-clockwise and clockwise. So if you don't know which way a clock spins, you better get yourself sorted. So, back to my trusty rusty scissors. If I was asked to spin them 90 degrees anti-clockwise or clockwise, I'm going to do it 1/4 of a turn. Now, I chose the end as the point where I was going to turn it. But the diagram might tell you to turn it at a certain point. So if it says from the screw in the middle, turn it 90 degrees, you're going to turn it like that. Similar, but not quite as drastic as a turn from the end. So 90 degrees, 1/4 of a turn, 180 degrees, half a turn, 270, 3/4 of a turn. And if I'd asked you to do a 360, well, that's just dangerous and you shouldn't throw scissors. So that is rotation. Now, reflection is going to give you a line. And it will say this is a mirror line. So if you have a person checking themselves out, looking pretty handsome there, and this is the mirror line, you're going to have to draw it exactly as you see it, but upside down. Now the trick is to draw yourself little lines. How far away was this eyeball from the mirror line is how far it should be away from that eyeball. This eyeball was that far away, should be about that far away. The nose was that far away, so the nose should be that far away. If the mouth was this far away, the mouth should be that far away. If we drew a mirror line here, we would get a different looking face. Same sort of thing. Eyeball should be there. Nose is there. Nose should be about there. Mouth starts there. Mouth should start there. So it'd have something looking like this. The circle, it's touching the mirror. So that is what we call reflection. Translation is going to involve your grid again. So if you have a square and it wants you to translate the whole square, it's going to give you some grid points. So all of these grid points. So if it says to you, translate this square to 1, That means you're going to take this little point here and you're going to go across 2, 1, 2, and put it 1 up because it says 1 up. This point here goes 2 across, 1 up, so it'll be there. This point here goes 2 across and 1 up, it'll be about there. This point here goes 2 across, 1 up, it'll be there. So when you redraw your square, it should be about the same size, but you have translated it by a given set of points. It gets a little tricky when it starts, you know, throwing you some negative x's and some negative y's, but if you do 1 point at a time, 1 point at a time, you shouldn't get too confused. Right, the last thing, this word congruent. Back to my trusty rusty scissors. Congruent means same. They have to be exactly the same to be congruent shapes. They're similar, 2 handles, 2 stabby things, but they are not congruent because they are not exactly the same shape. These are congruent. So, if they are facing the same way and they're the same size, congruent. If they're maybe like this, they're similar but not congruent because you can't pick this one up to cover up this one. Say this one's robbed a bank. This one can't come in front of it exactly as it is to cover it up so the police can't see it. If this one was this way, it's the same direction, it is the same shape, it could cover this guy up so the cops, who happen to be my sock, come driving past in their car, they're not going to be able to see the shape behind because this shape is facing the same way. I could pick it up from where it was and put it in the front, so it is congruent. Similar, but not congruent. This is dangerous. Similar, but not congruent. Congruent.